Welcome to Green and Growing, the podcast where we refuse to stay stuck and be ripe and rotting. I'm Wade Perry, your host, and I'm here to help you thrive in every area of your life, whether it's your physical life, your business life, your family life. And together, we're going to unpack the lessons, the insights, and game-changing strategies to keep you green and growing. It's been my absolute pleasure to introduce my guest today, Mr. Mark Ryan. He is a realtor with eXp. He's been here for almost 7 years, and he's been in the real estate business since 2010, which, if you're a math major, means he's been at some other firms, so he can give us some good perspective on why eXp is special. Prior to that, he was on Wall Street for 25 years, which means he's also really smart at being able to look at a company, look at their balance sheet, look at their profit and loss statement, and determine whether or not it's a viable player in the industry that it's in. In this episode, we're going to explore his journey in real estate, unpack challenges of the business, dig into eXp and what makes it special. And so without further ado, everybody, Mr. Mark Ryan from Queens, New York to Colorado. Mark, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Wade.
Well, Mark, eXp is known for its innovative cloud-based model. It's a disruptor. It's been around for 15 years, although some people think it's a startup. Believe it or not, we have 90,000 agents. And I'm thinking, with your background being here for almost 7 years, can you share how the virtual platform transformed the day-to-day experience that agents have when they're in a brick-and-mortar type of office?
Sure thing, Wade. First of all, I never thought I could work from home. Never thought. I thought I had to have some place to go to have that camaraderie, bounce ideas off people. But boy, life is so much better with a virtual platform. So much better.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
I work harder. I'm more productive. I'm more productive. I really feel I'm much more productive because I can wake up, start work. There's no commute time. There's no nonsense. You just get it done, and it frees up a lot of time at the end of the day or at night because you're not behind that 8-ball all the time. And I think that I thought it would be Budweiser's and ESPN at 8 o'clock. Not the case. It really works. And it really works because we have such an innovative platform. All our training is online. You have,
it's interesting you say that, because I think that's the one thing that so many people overlook at eXp is through the virtual platform, they provide over 80 hours a week of training on dozens and dozens of different strategies, topics, niches of the market. And, you're absolutely right. You don't miss having people knock on your office door. Hey, got a minute? And the next thing you know, a half an hour is gone. You don't miss that, do you?
Not at all. And one of the beautiful things I do at commercial real estate, I have residential agents, at least one a week. I get to meet a residential agent through eXp. They want to either me to take care of their client for them, but most of the time they want me to teach them that side of the business. And I get to pay it forward in so many ways by taking them on client tours. And so I still get that camaraderie every day. I know Wednesday I have a tour lined up, and I'll show this agent how it works to lease a warehouse. So you never know what each day is going to bring. And I probably have 10 of those things going on right now.
Mark, you just hit on something that I think the industry, and maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't. You've been in real estate for 14 years now. And before that, being on Wall Street, where you had to be in an office every day. And so for 14 years, you've been in real estate. And for half of that time, you were with a red company that has brick and mortar and offices that you needed to go to. And I'll bet when you went to leave, There were a lot of people that thought, oh, you're going to be on an island by yourself. You're not going to get any support. Were you surprised at the collaborative nature of eXp and how willing agents were and have been and continue to be at pouring into you and being available whenever you had questions? Were you surprised by that?
I was stunned, Wade. So what happened was you get these surveys after you complete a transaction.
Right.
Company really wants to know what your experience is like. And I always rate it to the top. And they ask you why. And I say, it's the people. It's all about the people. My experiences, we go back to Wall Street. The old saying is, and I've had to teach this to my youngest son, who's in that arena, that if you want a friend, you buy a dog. Okay.
That's
I'm sure
Gordon
you,
Gekko.
yes, you know that. And
Yeah.
so if you, and that I found that other real estate firms as well. If you
Mm-hmm.
want a friend, buy a dog. And a little aside, you mentioned where I was from. I'm the oldest of four boys. I went to Wall Street, my kid brother went to Wall Street, and my two middle brothers were involved in law enforcement. They got some good stories. But my father would say I got two cops and two robbers for sons. So when I told him I was going to do commercial real estate, he said, you got to be careful. You can't have friends. People will come after you. He goes, it's different. I said, I've spent all these years on Wall Street. I know how to take care of myself. And he goes, no, no, it's different. Real estate is different. And he was right. And there's a lot of people out there that won't share information, won't share training, anything related to. They're thinking that you're going to take their clients away. Totally the opposite. We're totally so unique in that everybody wants to help you. What can I do to take care of you? What can I do? I mean, it starts at the very top and it goes throughout the whole organization. What can I do to help you be successful? And they mean it. And at first, being a suspicious New Yorker, even though I've been out here for a long time, I was like, what do you really want? Come on, man. There's something there. There's something
There's
there.
got to be a
And
catch. Why are you
there's
being
gotta
nice to
be,
me?
yeah, why are you being nice to me? But it's genuine. And that in effect changes my whole attitude. And you have an attitude of gratitude and everybody works together. It's beautiful, beautiful thing.
I have to concur 100%. I began my real estate career in 2007, so about 17 years ago. I was with a very large blue company for basically 10 of those years, 5 of which as a managing broker. And we had an incredible culture at our office. We really were like a family, but it was a family from the standpoint of camaraderie, and that was great. But when it came to sharing secrets, boy, across the industry, you see big producers and they just kind of want to keep it to themselves. When I came to eXp, I was a little skeptical, just like you mentioned, that all these people wanted to help, and I couldn't quite get my head around it. I went to eXpCon, and I see on stage these people that are making $1 million, $2 million a year, giving away their greatest secrets for free, no expectation. Here you go. Here's my cell phone. Here's my email. Hit me up. I'm here to help. And I still couldn't quite put my finger on it until I figured out that everybody at eXp is an owner. Everybody owns shares in the company, and they know that if everybody succeeds, the whole boat rises and everybody wins. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. And I've had people actually ask me, why are you helping me? I'm what they call a certified mentor. But I'm like, before they had that program, why are you helping me? I said, look, you know, I'm all about the stock. I'm all about that stock price. If I can help move that up, we all make extra money. So I'm on board to helping whoever if somebody is not in my downline, I don't care. I'll help
Yeah.
you. It's just all about collaboration.
You mentioned you've got 10 appointments coming up. One this, I think Wednesday, you're going to help some residential guy go through a commercial warehouse and learn that side of it. And you've got several of these appointments lined up. Are the people that you're taking through, are they surprised that people are like yourself are willing to help?
I think they've all been part of the culture here, so I don't think
Okay,
they're surprised anymore. I think that they kind of expect it, which is a
sure.
beautiful thing. I mean, it gets to the point where, initially I was surprised. Now it's like, this is how we do business, and I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
It's
Any
funny
other
you say
way.
that because when I first encountered that culture, I'm not a timid person by any stretch of the imagination, but
I could tell.
I would thank you. I was a little reticent, if you will, that okay, I'm the new guy in the pond. I've been with the company for 5 months, and I'm at this giant convention called eXp with 5,000 agents. And at first, I was a little hesitant, like, well, okay, I'm the new guy. I don't know what's common, what's the protocol. And I look around and I see people literally just cornering people right and left. Hey, I need this. Hey, give me this. Hey, let me give this to you. Here's my number, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes infectious. And you lose that reticent feeling. And you're not only are you no longer hesitant to ask, but you start to feel like I need to give back. And being in my upper 50s, I'm looking at this is now my opportunity for the next 10 years to give back to others. I was fortunate enough to have a father that, like you, was on Wall Street for a lot of years. He was a national spokesperson for our company, big give backer. And he taught me, he says, you owe the system. And so now I feel like I'm in a place, eXp, where it is tailor made for me to give back and help other young agents grow and perfect their craft, grow their businesses. Do you see yourself in that same type of a light?
Absolutely. Except I'm older than you, so I have less time to do it. So I got to do it even heavier.
But you have more lessons to give.
This I would say helping people avoid the mistakes that I made.
Boy, that is a really, really good answer. It's kind of like when I'm showing people a house and I tell them there's 50 houses that'll check the boxes. My job isn't to help you find the right one. My job's to make sure you don't buy the wrong one. So when you talk about
Beautiful.
helping agents not make the mistakes you've made, how does that relate to, say, eXp and the landscape of firms that are out there?
Well, we've been with a couple of firms, and I think that it goes back to what you said earlier, Wade. It's a circle in the arms.
Mm,
You've physically circled your arms. I'm not going to share. So they let you
mhm.
make the mistakes
Yeah,
and they let you fail because that means more opportunity, perhaps another client for them. Now, I don't
right.
want to sound super cynical, but
Yeah.
that's the real world.
We're a maverick business. You're on your
Yep.
own, and you get to eat what you kill. Hate to be graphic, but it's kind of the way it works. And that kind of gets back to. I'll circle back to that in a minute. But you mentioned something earlier, being a certified mentor. That is a role that I don't believe exists at any other real estate firm that I've ever heard of. Being a certified mentor. And so training and mentorship, they are huge, huge components of eXp's culture. And I guess my question to you is, has this provided you with a platform to do what you wanted to do in this stage of your career?
Um, yes, I think it has given me the opportunity to give back. And, it's this goes back to the customer clients.
Mm,
And there are so many particularly in commercial real estate. There are so many people who could use help, medium, small size. I have international clients, but I'm talking small to medium sized businesses that will get robbed if they
Mm.
don't have good representation,
Oh boy.
either on a listing side or a buying side. I do purchase and sales, but I also help do tenant representation. So it's a business owner that is looking for space. If they go in there because they saw a sign on the wall on the street, they're going to get, they're going to get creamed. If they go
Yeah.
without, the name on the board is being paid by the landlord
Yep.
of that building. So every deal, every lease is written to benefit the landlord. My job is to go in there and tell them, what about this? We want this done. We want, you know, this conference room put in, then we want this paint, we want this plumbing, we want all these things, multiple things done, and you're going to pay for it. As opposed to going in there and they just start pull out the card. Nobody writes checks anymore, right? So they pull out the card and they just pay for it all. And my job is to get them uh, known. One of the things that really has been hot for me lately is the adult day services. I qualify to be one of their clients. You know that by how old I am. But
Sure.
what we do is we go in there and we help seniors and we help them get these operations going, of which um, business owners don't know that they could get that showers installed for the people. They can get this carpeting done. They can get all this stuff. And I go in and I get in there and I look at the asking price for the rental rate, and I'll get it down there. Then I'll get them free rent. So
Mm.
it's all about helping people. But that goes back to the eXp platform. When
Yeah.
the residential agents come out on these tours with me, they're going to be amazed what um, what we can do to help people. But I'll give a caution. A lot of times residential agents think, oh, I want to do commercial because I don't have to work weekends. I don't have to work 9 to 5. Nah, that doesn't work that way. It doesn't work
No,
that
it
way.
does not work that way.
It sounds really good, but
Right.
it doesn't work that way. Everybody thinks,
No.
oh, it's just like traveling. You traveled in your career.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's glamorous.
No,
No,
it's
you end
dirty.
up with room service sitting there by yourself. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
it's commercials. Commercials a different animal.
So going back to, you'd been with a prior brokerage, large national firm, and then you come to eXp and you go from a brick and mortar operation to a cloud-based operation. And I'm guessing you had a lot of colleagues that were saying, oh, it's cloud-based, you're going to be on your own and you're not going to, there's no training. And you get to eXp, you learn there's over 80 hours of training per week available online. Um, do do you think that in talking to other eXp Realty agents that training really is a game changer for them to stay competitive, advance their skills, regardless of whether they've been in the business 20 years or 20 months?
If it doesn't work for them, they got only themselves to blame. Because
Wow, wait a minute.
there,
Let me back up. Say that again.
if it doesn't work out, they only can blame themselves because it's there. So you need to have motivation. You have to have discipline. You got to wake up and think no, business isn't going to come to you. That's
No.
unrealistic. Knowledge is not going to come to you. One of the advantages with eXp is when you have people will tell you to take a leap forward, trust the system, go do the deal. A lot of times I've seen agents and they think they have to know everything. They have to know every little minutia in those 20-page contracts. You don't. You don't. You got a wonderful managing broker team. You got questions, you pick it up. You got to go after the business. Don't, what do they call it? paralysis through analysis.
That's
You can
exactly
get
it.
yourself so bogged down and you have no excuse at all not to be successful because it's there. And it has
You know, let's
nothing to,
let's dig into that just real quick. So traditional big national firm brick and mortar operations going to have 100 to 200, maybe even more agents. They'll have one managing broker, which means that you get about 3 minutes per month if you really need some one-on-one time. There may or may not be one or two training sessions. Maybe there's one training session a week, if that, and you don't get to decide what it is. It's just that's what it's going to be. And so when you think about, and I'm curious if you agree with me on this, when I look at the eXp model with 80 hours of training per week, three managing brokers, not one, all of which are available through the virtual world that we have on a moment's notice, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I don't think I've ever waited more than 3 minutes to meet with one. You also have them available by email in the CO broker email address. And you also have them available through workplace and workplace chat. And when I think about all of that combined, and I think, you know what, for the realtor who is serious about running a business, a realtor who is serious about making a difference in their clients' lives, a realtor who is serious about making a difference in his family's financial future, this platform, I can't find another platform that is more suited for the true entrepreneur that wants to run their own business. Do you agree with that?
100%, Wade. I mean, you said that word serious 3 times. And you have to be serious about it. If you want to be successful in this business, you can do it, but you got to be serious. And I love that. I wish I could. I'll watch the podcast again and I'll get that clip of you saying serious. But this is I look at it as people who come to EXP, they're serious. They want to make it. They're not there to hang their license and maybe
Mm-mm.
do one deal a year. This is for people who want to make some money and do good at the same time. It's a noble profession. And so why not go with the best? Right? You're helping people with the largest transaction of their life, right? If you're representing the buyer, you're helping somebody, that wants to downsize for whatever the reason is. It's a very noble profession, and I think we're probably right down there on the bottom with Congress and the media, but
Yep.
it's not. It's serious because the people here are serious and want to help their people succeed, meaning their clients.
It's interesting you bring that up because I have maintained a very similar philosophy for my 17 years, and I take it this way: it's never about the house. It's never about the house. It's about somebody's life. This is something they're going to
Yes.
do maybe 3 to 5 times in the course of their life, and it will always, almost always. I don't want to be black and white, but it's almost always premeditated by something that is really big and really emotional that has nothing to do with the house. They're getting married, they're getting unmarried, they're having children, they're getting rid of children, they're getting hired, they're getting fired, or somebody died. That's what premeditates a move, all of which are major emotional milestones in life. The home, the property is just a step in the bigger wheel of what's going on. But it also involves a vast majority of people's most valuable asset. So it must be taken care of with extreme care, extreme expertise, compassion, be a counselor, and having all of this available to us at eXp in terms of the training and the mentorship, things that come down from these people that have been in this business for 20, 30 years, always willing to give. There's a reason why they say eXp is where the pros go to grow. And
Absolutely.
I could not agree with that phrase anymore. And if you really think about everything eXp provides for us to grow as people, as realtors, it all fosters back into that collaboration and wanting to give back and help other people, which then spills over into how can I be a better realtor to help my client? It,
Well
it's
said.
it's it all kind of feeds on itself. You think?
Yeah, one thing I want to add to what you said
Sure.
though, when you said this is where the pros go, right? My impression when I came over was you better know what you're doing because
Mm,
it's a virtual platform. You better know what you're doing because you're not going to get that support. Totally, totally incorrect. But I would
yep.
amend what I was saying and add to it by saying, if you want to be a pro, this is where you go. You don't have to be a
Mm.
pro if you want it and you're serious. Again, that serious word. If you're serious about it, this is where you'll go because you'll get what you need to make a career of this.
That is a really great distinction. I do love the phrase, it's where pros go to grow. But I think that if you really take it back and say, maybe you don't think you're a pro yet, but the fact that you have the mindset that you want to grow and you want to be better, you know what? You'll get there.
Yep.
And as you mentioned earlier, if you can't do it here, you can't do it anywhere because they provide you with everything. Let's bridge this last into a topic on community. People think that being virtual, you're out there on your own, it's not going to have a culture. Um, do you think eXp has a strong community despite being virtual?
You know, I was wondering where the holiday party's going to be just yesterday. And I know some of the, because I enjoy hanging out with the people and I get to meet, as we're growing so fast, I get to meet so many people.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful opportunity. And I know um, if you guys in the managing broker department are looking at this video, I haven't, maybe I missed it, but I don't know when it is. So,
They do have it. It's interesting. They do announce every Tuesday in our sales meetings that they have what we call IRL, which is in real life, and they actually have face-to-face
right.
stuff, usually about once a month. And tomorrow is Tuesday, so they will probably announce some type of holiday gathering. I missed last Tuesday. I was on a plane going to home for my mom. But as far as fostering collaboration and building that culture, I really think that that gives agents a big advantage in the marketplace because they're not by themselves. And in your experience with eXp versus another large national company, have you witnessed that the C-suite, the top brass, the corner office guys that really run this show, Glenn, Leo, Amy, you can even go down to, heck, we even have an executive director of learning, believe it or not. I don't know another company has that. Do you feel that the C-suite actively promotes a collaborative culture?
Absolutely. I give you an example that I I'm recruiting a firm to come over to eXp, and I got on a Zoom call with Leo, Amy, and these participants, a couple of Zooms actually. And when I started out the call, I had never met Leo live, and he wanted to know about me and my potential recruit. And he asked me about me. And I'm like, no, no, don't ask me about me. Just talk to this guy. And he goes, no, I want to know about you. I want to know you. And I was like, holy moly, that's pretty cool.
So let me just back up so that the audience understands. Leo Pareja, the CEO of eXp, once upon a time was the number one realtor for Keller Williams worldwide. That's saying something. That's rarefied air.
That's huge.
He's now the CEO of eXp with 90,000 agents. A lot of people on this podcast probably are unaware that in 2023, eXp had more closed transactions than any other real estate company in America, more than anybody. 90,000 agents, most transactions, and yet that CEO is on a call with you about attracting not just an agent, but an entire company to come over to eXp And his question, first and foremost, was not about the agent you're attracting, but he wants to know about Mark Ryan, the person.
Pretty
Wow.
scary. I
That
didn't I
that
didn't
had to
disclose a lot.
be that had to be a revelation.
That
I
blew
mean,
me away.
you almost had to pinch yourself. Wait, well, like you said, wait, no, don't. It's not about me. And he stopped you and said, "No, I want to know you."
Right,
And I think
right.
that probably speaks to the power of the culture, that it trickles down from the very top, and that we're
100%.
all here for each other.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, let me do this. I mean, we've only got a couple minutes left, Mark, and you are a giver. You have a lot to give. You spent a career on Wall Street. You've been in real estate now for 14 years, and on the residential side and the commercial side, you're actively coaching and collaborating and mentoring young agents. Have you got any advice, any tips, any guidance that you'd give to realtors out there that are either newer in the industry, maybe they've been in the industry a long time? What's your pearls of wisdom you might share?
Need to seriously take a look at eXp. When I was first recruited, um, they showed me all the bells and the whistles, and that's nice. But they really cared about me as a person,
Mm,
and that translates into some prior experiences that I've had at other companies that had stock plans, and you can tell culture is an important component of any success of any company.
mm,
And if they genuinely care about you, this guy, when I was recruited, this is, sometimes there's a lot of the transactions that I do, there's no closing table. Okay.
right.
And so getting paid and having the brokerage firm hold that money for 4 to 6 weeks after they got received the check, makes me angry. So I went to
Mm,
the managing broker and I said, look, this was an issue with me. I don't want to wait. You guys are just sitting on the float here. And he says, I'll
hmm.
write you a personal check if you ever need it. And I'm like, I don't need it, but he was going to write a
Yeah,
personal check just to make sure that I was okay. Wow,
that's saying something.
that's saying something.
Um, if somebody has questions and they want to take advantage of Mark and his wisdom in terms of his real estate experience, um, I think you mentioned that you'd like to present a special offer to our audience.
Yeah, and if anybody has a um, friend, themselves, spouse, anybody who is leasing space and wants to know if they got a good deal, I'll take a look at that lease for free.
Wow.
I'm not an attorney, but I can tell you if you had representation, I can tell if you had representation or not just by the structure. So I'd be glad to help anybody out that way.
So for everybody out there, if you've got a commercial property and you've got a lease or you've got a potential for a lease coming up and you're not quite sure whether you're getting a good deal, whether maybe someone's taking advantage of you, I encourage you, look up Mark Ryan. He's got a lifetime of experience dealing with financials. He's got the heart of a saint. He's here to help. And he's doing it with my favorite four-letter word, free. So I would urge you, pick up the phone, reach out to Mark. Mark, how can they call you?
Number 720-206-4313
One
and
more
tech
time.
720-206-4313. And I text like a teenager, so text always works.
Well, that'll probably come in handy if you have grandchildren, right?
That's correct.
Mark, it has been an absolute joy to spend this time with you. You truly do embody the collaborative nature and the sharing that embodies eXp. I, for one, am proud that you are my colleague, you're my teammate, and that I've got you in my corner. And I'm sure there's
One
going to be
more
people
thing, we're
calling you for
friends.
help.
We're
Yeah,
friends.
you are my friend. There's
Sounds
no
great.
question. If you need something, we have a saying, regardless of the day, the time, or the need, you can always find it here. So when you need
Absolutely.
something, Mark, you reach out.
Will do.
Okay. Hey, thanks for joining us in this episode of Green and Growing. If this episode has sparked something in you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe wherever you listen. And stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for more inspiration and exclusive content. Remember, life is about progress, not perfection. Cheers to Green and Growing. See you on our next episode. Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of Green and Growing. I'm your host, Wade Perry of the Perry Properties Group at eXp. Welcome,